Friday's earthquake startled many folks, including a New York City teacher who was in between class sessions when the rumbling began. He shares his story with Chief Meteorologist Chad Merrill in this exclusive interview.
So there was just a magnitude 4.8 earthquake in northern New Jersey. And Dave Roush, you are a teacher in the New York City Metro, and you felt that earthquake, correct?
Absolutely. So I'm sitting at my desk because it's between the class changes, the period changes. We have a 5-minute bell to bell. I'm sitting at my desk and I start to hear this rumble. And every once in a while, somebody will move a file cabinet upstairs down the hallway and you feel that rumble. And initially it sounded like that, but then it just sort of grew and grew and grew. And I'm looking at, there's a couple students in my room early and I go, what is that? I used a little bit of colorful language. I said, what the heck is that? And the kids are looking at me like, oh, some kids are running down the hall upstairs. I said, no, it's more than that. Do you feel that? And I was in a rolly chair. So when I put my hands on my desk in my rolly chair, I could almost feel the action, You didn't see things shaking on the walls. It wasn't that, that much of a shake, but I could feel the movement with my hands and my forearms lying on my desk while I was sitting in my chair. And it went on for, I would say, the main shaking took about 5 seconds. But then it continued for about 10 seconds after. And I'm looking at the students going, don't you feel that? Don't you feel that? They were looking at me like I was a crazy person. I think because they were standing up and I had that surface area on the desk, I could feel the continued. I said, it's still shaking. It's still shaking. They were oblivious to it.
So there wasn't any mayhem that went on in school? Any announcements, any early delays or early closings or anything like that?
Sure. So I think it took a good 5 minutes for everybody to figure out what the heck just happened. I knew that it was more than just somebody running down the hallway when another colleague of mine came running in the door going, Mr. Roush, did the building just shake? Did you feel that? And I'm going, yeah, I think we just had a freaking earthquake. So I wouldn't call it panic, but there was a lot of excitement, I think, more than panic is the way I would describe it. And then immediately I go on Twitter to try and see, are people talking about this? Because we're literally within the first 60 seconds, 2 minutes after it happened. And then I would say within 5 minutes, my phone rings in my classroom and it's the principal. And she's saying the same thing to me. Did you feel that? What was that? I said, I think we just had an earthquake, and I'm in a very excited tone of voice, because I've never experienced this before. So eventually what did happen, I'm sort of the communication guy for the school, and I have the PA system in my studio. So the principal had me write up a little brief announcement to go building wide and just explain to everybody, yes, you felt the building shake. Yes, that was an earthquake. Everybody's safe. Everybody's fine. We're continuing business as usual. And if that changes, we will come back on the PA and let you know. So I was the person who got to make that announcement to the building. But it was a very, again, I wouldn't categorize it as a scary time. It was more of almost like an anxious excitement because we didn't know what that was and it was new and we haven't felt it before. I'm sure if we lived in California, we would have been like, oh, okay, fine. That's a Thursday. But no, it was just like a tuned up excitement and everybody, wanting to know, did you feel that? What was that?
So do you have earthquake drills at your school, or do you think going forward that the school system might implement a policy as to what do we do if we have an earthquake to protect the students and the staff?
So interestingly, we do not have any kind of earthquake drill. We don't have any kind of preparedness, but I don't think that's a fault of New York City public education. I mean, we're on the East Coast, so it's not something that we're used to seeing. I don't know what the numbers are in terms of how long ago the most recent one was. I think somebody mentioned something in 2011, but I think that one happened overnight and most of us were asleep, so I didn't even feel that. So I think that just the fact of where we are and the fact that the faults don't seem to be super active around here, we don't have that. Will that change? I don't know. I can't speak for the New York City Department of Education. We love to make sure we're trained and ready for anything. So I wouldn't rule it out, but as of right now, there's not been any conversations about that.
If you want to learn more about how the remainder of the school day proceeded after the earthquake and more of Dave's experience with the aftershocks the following day, just head over to our website, WOAY.com, and look for the story on our homepage.